Hello and welcome to the Dinosaw for week 21, another 7 curious interesting things I saw last week. So let's crack on. First one is BeReal. So this is an app I heard through my daughter, and this allows friends to share what is actually going on. So this is judgment free, and it's kind of free of all those unrealistic expectations and filters that you get on social media. So the way this works is you download the app. Obviously your friends can be on it as well, but at a certain time each day, and it is random every day, so you can't prepare for it. It'll ping up and say, okay, get ready to take a photo. And what it does is it activates the front and rear camera of what's going on right now. So it takes a picture of you and a picture of what's in front. And because you don't know when it's going, you can't actually prepare for it. So you get the warts and all reality of everybody's lives. And you share that. And it happens once a day as well. So it tackles two things. One is the reality, and one is this sort of overabundance of sharing as well. So that was a really, really interesting take on social media, and it's a far more wholesome version as well. So that is BeReal. Spotify have launched an island on Roblox. Apparently they are the first music brand to do so, which I find implausible, but there you go. So what this is a themed island, as you can see in front of you. Lots of music will be going on there. You will be able to meet artists and unlock new zones eventually. I think the first one is going to be called K-Park, and that will be for K-pop bands, and you will be able to see Sunmi and Stray Kids apparently. Obviously I totally know who those people are. But you'll also be able to unlock exclusive merch and that sort of thing. Now, of course, it's all themed and it's interactive as well, so you will be able to play games and discover new music and share your playlist, etc., etc. But there you go. So brilliantly done. Looks amazing. A little bit fledgling at the moment, but more things to come. Watch out for Spotify Island on Roblox. This is a group. There's two things actually I saw from Washington University. One was about sensors that can flutter in the wind. However, they're made out of plastic at the moment, so I'm not going to talk about those. But I am going to talk about this, which is a computer mouse, which is 90% biodegradable by mass. And they've really looked at lots of different ways of doing this. So there are plastic alternatives which are biodegradable. And as you can see, it's actually fairly rudimental. What you're seeing right now is the circuit board, which is usually made out of fiberglass and resin, is actually made out of flax, so sort of a vegetable essentially, and it uses other sorts of algae and that sort of thing. Even the microelectronics are reusable general purpose chips, for instance, so you don't have to create all of the e-waste that goes into making custom chips, for instance. Now, apparently in 2019, which is where the main stats come from, we generated 50 million metric tons of e-waste. So anything in this direction is a good thing. Other than that, brilliant, well done, and more of that, please. Talking about, this is more on the accessible thing. There was some updates from Google and also from Apple about accessibility. Now this is a really neat feature. So this is door detection, and you might be thinking, what on earth is that? If you have sight impairment or you are blind, then doors are a bit tricky. Where is the door? How far is the door away? How does it open? Is it closed? All those sorts of things are fairly basic things that a lot of people take for granted. If you have visual impairment, you don't take this for granted. So that's what happens here. It will be able to read the text on the door itself. It can also have a look at how the door opens, whether it's in or out. You can have a guess of that, and also whether it's a knob or a lever, those sorts of things. So that's great. There are a few more accessibility features that were announced as well, but check out the link below and you can find those out yourself. But door detection, great thing. This is a slightly complicated update, but basically is saying that if you are a good hacker, or if you possibly lied on your Tinder profile, you probably won't end up in prison in America. So what this basically means is there was a slightly heavy-handed reading of what's called exceeding authorized access. So that if you exceeded authorized access, it basically means that you got into something you weren't allowed to, and this was basically the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act in America. Now, this caught even things like going against the terms and conditions of a website, But also, if you are a legitimate researcher and you are trying to find a vulnerability, or you are trying to get some sort of hacker benefit or bonus, you're a white hat hacker, for instance, for finding those vulnerabilities, then you could actually fall foul of this law. So even though a company could say it's absolutely fine, the government could actually try and sue you as well. So there was a bit of a loophole, so that has been tightened up, so that if you are in that world, the world has got a little bit brighter. It still doesn't obviously excuse just people doing sort of penetration testing and actually hacking, but if you did it with legitimate reasons and a legitimate background, then you are less likely to end up in prison. There you go. This is one of my favourite channels on YouTube. This is the Lock-Picking Lawyer, and I also like some of the innovative ways that he picks locks. So this is a sort of a known exploit, but he's taking it a step further. So always interested in how people can bypass security, and if you have a keypad, for instance, there are lots of ways you can potentially do that using Wi-Fi or NFC chips. However, what he's using here is the thermal imprint of your finger to actually recognize which numbers were printed. Now obviously if your number it has repeated numbers in it, then that's not going to work. Now this works from 50 feet away using this essentially rifle scope with thermal imaging in it. However, it will give you at least the 4 digits, and therefore you can probably figure that out by looking at where the finger actually moved. But there is a really simple way of stopping this happening. So if you do have one of these keypads, and all you got to do is put your fingers on all of the keys just after you've entered the keypad, as he's just about to show you here. So you type in your code and then you smother it with your fingers and swipe it down, and you're now safe. So you might, if you see somebody doing that in the future, you know what video they've watched, probably the same one as you just now. There you go. And finally, in the what could possibly go wrong category, this is the world's first unmanned drone carrier ship. So I'm fairly sure there are going to be people on it. However, this is apparently unmanned, unpersoned, and it will deploy en masse devices for 3D networked observation systems above and below the surface. Now this carries things like aquatic drones as well as things that fly, and what that's really telling you is, I can't remember how many it has on it, but it's something like 50 types of drones or 50 drones. The point is for oceanic research, but it does note in the I think it was on the China Today Morning Star, I think it might have been, article, that also there are potential naval applications for this. Of course there are. So if we see these things pootling about in the ocean, deploying drones underwater and observing things, then it might not be oceanographic. However, if that is what it does, then that is amazing. It would be even more amazing if it was electric and didn't pollute the world. But there you go. So autonomous, the first ever unmanned drone ship. Who'd have thought? What a time to be alive. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully it was interesting. Quick one this week. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, share it with somebody awesome, and I will see you next week.